Solve for x using the quadratic formula. The first thing that I'm going to do is label all of my values. My a value is 3, my b value is 4, and my c value is 4. Next, I'm going to use the quadratic formula to substitute all of these values. In doing so, I'm going to get x equal to negative b. My b value is 4. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. Reminder that b is 4, so I get 4 squared. We're going to subtract 4 times a times c. My a value is 3, my c value is 4, so I'm going to multiply 3 and 4. All of this is underneath the square root. And I'm going to divide everything by 2 times a. My a value is 3. After I have the setup, it's just a matter of simplifying. So here I get x equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared. 4 squared is 4 times 4. That gives me 16. And then we're going to multiply these three quantities together. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. If I multiply 4, I'm going to get negative 48. On the denominator, I have 2 times 3. That gives me 6. Next, I'm going to simplify what's underneath the square root. 16 minus 48, I'm going to get a negative 32. So I get x equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 32 all over 6. Now 32 is not a perfect square, but we can simplify the radical expression by getting the prime factorization. So 32 is the same thing as 16 times 2. 2 is prime. 16 is 4 times 4. And then 4 is the same thing as 2 times 2. And here I'm going to get more primes. So I can rewrite the square root of negative 32 as the square root of negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 all over 6. It's at this point that I'm going to get the pairs. So I get a pair of 2's, I get another pair of 2's. Also keep in mind that the negative 1 can also exit out the square root if I exchange it for I. So I'm going to get I, and then 1, 2 is going to be able to exit the square root, and then the second 2 is going to be able to exit the square root. So I'm going to get x equal to negative 4 plus or minus, and then I'm going to multiply everything that's outside of the square root, basically everything that I was able to get out. So 2 times 2 times I gives me 4i. And then I'm going to multiply everything that remained inside of the square root. But the only thing that's there is the 2, so I'm going to write 2 all over 6. Next, I'm going to get the greatest common factor of the two numbers on the numerator. So 4 and 4, the GCF is going to be 4. So I get that x is equal to 4. And to get what goes inside of the parentheses, I'm going to divide each value by whatever it is that I factored. So negative 4 divided by 4, that gives me negative 1. Plus or minus 1i root 2 all over 6. Now I'm going to pay attention to the 4 and the 6. The 4 over 6 can reduce into 2 over 3. This tells me that my solution is going to look like 2, negative 1, plus or minus I root 2 over 3. And since I got a factor here that wasn't able to reduce to 1, I'm going to redistribute this quantity and get my final answer, negative 2 plus or minus 2i root 2 over 3.